Let's talk about how trauma is stored in our body as cellular memories. You go through something that activates your central nervous system and your fear response, and then also you have an emotional reaction with that as well. Your body is going to quantitate that as, oh, this is something that we need to remember so that either it doesn't happen again or we know how to handle it in the future. This is where a lot of maladaptive behaviors can come from. For example, if you had parents that were always yelling at you and criticizing you and telling you what's wrong with you, when you get to be an adult and you get in a career and you have a boss that can be the nicest boss in the world, okay, never yelled at you or anything like that, or maybe you do have a boss that's stern and direct. When that boss says, hey, I need to talk to you about some things, maybe what you can improve upon in your job, sometimes your inner children and your inner teens will get so panicked because they still think that their parents are there yelling at them, because that trauma is stored within your DNA and your cells. And so maybe you start going into fight or flight or freeze or fawn, and you get really panicky, you start getting nauseous, you start getting a headache, all these different physical manifestations can occur, or you start feeling unworthy or start retracting back into yourself, which is going to shift the conversation that you have with your boss as well, because now we're coming from an inner child that is wounded, and you're looking through those lenses and you're speaking through those lenses, interacting through those lenses. Or maybe you tried out for a sports team when you were in school and you didn't make the team, but some of your friends did. That can be very traumatic to a child, and you're going to store that in your cells and your DNA, and your body is going to say, we need to stay away from those type of experiences because it made us feel so bad. It made us feel unworthy. It made us feel not safe. It made us feel incompetent. And so when you get to be an adult and you want to try new things, either, it could be a sports team, but it can also be some type of community class or something where you're having to put yourself out there and showcase your abilities. Maybe it is getting a new career, okay, or asking for a promotion. Your inner children can start to kind of lock up inside and say, oh, no, don't do that. And they'll start giving you imposter syndrome and self-limiting beliefs and telling you that we're not good enough, we're not worthy of that. Like, what if we fail? All of that stuff is coming from those childhood experiences. Or let's say that when you're a child, your caretakers did not have a lot of money. You were a low socioeconomic status, and they were always arguing about money or stressed about it. Maybe you saw them crying or, having these big emotional reactions. Well, your body is storing memory with something that is scary and that produces a lot of fear. And so as an adult, it stresses you out when you think about money because you have all those memories in your subconscious and all of those emotions trapped in your body. And so when you go to purchase things, or you go to budget, or you go to pay your bills, we're getting kind of panicky thinking about those things. And so what happens is you have a difficult time manifesting more money into your life because your body is like, that's scary, get it away from me. I've only had negative memories and interactions with it. And so we end up repelling money away from us. But that's because we're coming from that inner child consciousness that has yet to be healed through those things. Or like for me, I've really had to work through overachieving and perfectionism because when I was younger, I had a lot of abandonment wounds because my biological father wasn't in my life, and then my biological mother was like in and out, and then eventually my grandparents adopted me. So I quantitated myself of not being worthy of love and not being valuable. And so I was always trying to prove my worth through my efforts, and that often led to burnout and just putting so much on my plate and it never being enough and me never feeling successful. But that was because I had the inner children within that were running that programming and that behavioral pattern because of those deep core wounds. Hey babe, this is actually a commercial break to let you know that this is a snippet from my Quantum Evolution Academy, and this is an amazing program that I would love for you to be a part of. We're going to learn how to reach higher levels of consciousness, live into our soul mission, how to quantum manifest, how to heal our inner children, work within our Akashic records with our past lives and soul contracts and karmic lessons. Also how to heal your central nervous system and process your emotions. So if you want to learn more, you can go to my profile and click, check the comments here or the description box below, and let's get back to the video. Obviously, not all situations that we live through in life stem back from childhood, but I can say from my own personal experience in my life and working with clients, 9 times out of 10, I can track back where that first started in childhood, because it's usually some type of behavior that has been emulated from a parent or a caretaker or a guardian, or not getting what they needed in childhood, or maybe they went through some type of really traumatic event or PTSD event in their environment from society or their government or social media or something with their peers. It usually all comes back to childhood, because that's when we are getting programmed and taught how reality works. Or how reality works, right? Other people's perception of what is available to them and telling you what's available for you. Now let's talk about how trauma is relative to the child. Okay? What you think is not a big deal as an adult, and you're like, oh, well, you know, my parents and caretakers and guardians were just doing the best that they could, and they were trying to figure it out, and I'm very self-aware now. I understand why they acted the way they did, or my culture, or religion, or society, or government, all these different things. Okay, that is for you as an adult. A child or a teen, you got to think they are not at the same consciousness level as you. Okay, they are looking through their age lenses. So something that you understand as an adult, a 2-year-old, a 5-year-old, a 9-year-old are going to interpret and perceive in a completely different manner.